lot of people say a good side hustle is maybe selling weed. I mean, I don't mean for myself, I ain't gonna do it, but a lot of people say selling weed is the best way because it's guaranteed money, and even if you get caught, it's no big deal, right?
In 1996, Jeff Mizanskey was sentenced to life in a Missouri prison for something a lot of people now might think is not that big of a deal. You were sentenced to life without parole for possession of marijuana?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Do you wonder, how did I get here?
Every day. It's unbelievable.
Mizanskey was busted 20 years ago for 7 pounds of pot. Why should you go free?
Justice is supposed to be fair and equal. In my case, I don't think it was.
Locked away with violent offenders serving less time, Mizanskey tells me how the state of Missouri threw away the key after he broke a 3 strikes law targeting repeat drug offenders. He gets emotional thinking about what it has cost him. He just became a great-grandfather.
Found that out about a month ago. I got grandkids I've never seen.
Do you think you will go free?
I think with the help of the people I will. Eventually. If I can live long enough.
So, okay, maybe that was just a lot. Yeah, maybe that was the wrong thing. He had a lot of marijuana. I mean, 7 pounds, not really a lot, but maybe they consider that to be a whole hell of a lot. So maybe that was the problem, right? So maybe if your side hustle was selling weed in just small amounts, in small increments, maybe it wouldn't be so bad then.
Alan Russell was sentenced to life in jail in 2019 after a jury found him guilty of possessing 1.05 ounces of weed. To put that in perspective, Mr. Russell, who is black and just 38 years old, will spend the rest of his life behind bars for having 2 tablespoons of marijuana. Now, keep in mind, recreational weed is legal right now in 16 states, plus Washington, D.C., and medical marijuana is legal in 36, including Mississippi. In his appeal, Mr. Russell argued that his life sentence constitutes cruel and unusual punishment and is grossly disproportionate to his crime. The Court of Appeals disagreed in its majority opinion, stating that Russell's life sentence is in complete accordance with Mississippi law. So when people read the headlines, most can't understand how Mr. Russell could end up with a life sentence for possessing such a small amount of marijuana. Please explain to the viewers how Mr. Russell ended up spending the rest of his life in prison.
Well, Mississippi is not unlike a lot of states, and these states have habitual offender laws. Sometimes there are 3 strikes laws that we refer to in California. So that means if you have 2 prior strikes or 2 prior felonies, then your 3rd felony you could end up with a life sentence. And in California, for example, you can pick up these felonies, these prior strikes, when you are 16 and over, despite the fact that, of course, you're not an adult until you're 18. Our strike laws, as in other jurisdictions, goes to a very, starts when somebody's still a child. And these habitual offender laws, these strike laws, are very, very broad. So they cover a wide variety. Sometimes we say, oh, they're for serious or violent felonies. Well, the serious felony can be burglary, where, you enter a property without permission, nobody's hurt, there's no violence, doesn't matter, still a strike.
Okay, that's pretty bad. So, you know what? Just don't sell it at all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you got some medical condition, maybe just get a prescription for your doctor and go get your medicinal prescription, and you just smoke it and don't sell to nobody else, man. That way you be safe, okay? That way you ain't got to worry about nothing. You ain't got to worry about nobody, and you're good from there. Huh?
We are in Colorado Springs, where medical marijuana is legal. And tonight you'll meet a resident from Kansas who says he was pretty much banished to Colorado. And tonight he faces almost 25 years in prison for medical marijuana.
Put your hands in the air! Put your hands in the air!
Okay.
I wasn't selling it to anyone.
You guys can come on in.
I didn't have a meth lab.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the hydroponics.
I wasn't producing mass amounts and selling it on the black market.
You got scales and stuff in here too.
Back in May of 2017, Wilson County Sheriff's deputies raided Larry Burgess's home. They found one pot plant.
You guys are here for this, for real? I mean, all you guys with your guns?
Deputies dig through the fridge and freezer. Even the spices are under suspicion. Closets are checked. They take more than 100 pictures.
Turn around, face me, with your back towards me.
Larry is cuffed and hauled to jail.
All right, take a seat in the truck there.
This is what happens next. Larry is alone in the Wilson County Sheriff's Department holding cell. Deputies are still raiding his home.
Do what?
I'm gonna run to the jail. Okay. Our boys have a seizure, they're just paging EMS out.
Larry says he had 2 seizures while in custody. Now listen to deputies at his home.
Pretty convenient he's having a seizure. It's pretty convenient he's having a seizure.
He does
have them.
He does have them, and I figured that this would probably kick him into one.
The stress or whatever.
Yeah.
If you think those seizures inspired some sympathy, you'd be wrong. Deputies joke about bringing Larry his marijuana.
No, hell no!
And then the prosecutor threw the book at him. Larry now faces 4 criminal counts: possession, manufacturing, distribution, and unlawful use of a communications device to commit a felony.
The maximum amount is 6 months shy of 25 years in prison.
Okay, that's it. Period. I see firsthand. There's no way to do it. They're going to prosecute you to the fullest, even give you life sentences, so there's nothing you can do. So if you're planning on doing this, there's no way you can win, because America is 100% dead set against you selling marijuana. They will give you life sentences, whether you black or white. So forget all of that. Wait a minute. What?
Bo Wrigley is part of one of America's classic business dynasties, the Wrigley family. His great-grandfather and his namesake, William Wrigley, started the William Wrigley Company in the late 1800s. He started as a soap company. Very quickly, he pivoted to chewing gum. Bo's father worked and ran the company until the day he died, literally in March 1999, and Bo took it over when he was 35. And he ran it until 2008. He sold the company to the Mars family for $23 billion. After he sold the family company, he became an investor, and he has a bunch of different investments in healthcare and that kind of thing.
Wrigley realized what he thought he knew about cannabis was wrong. He started to see it was a burgeoning industry.
He started looking at it seriously, and him and his managing director started doing research, and they identified one company, Surterra Wellness, which is in Florida, and they took a plane down to the cultivation site, which is outside of Tampa. This is the first time he's seen one marijuana plant, let alone an entire grow facility full of them. He ended up leading a $65 million investment round into the company, and about a year later, he took over as CEO. A little bit after that, they changed the name to Parallel.
Forbes estimates Parallel makes around $200 million a year in revenue, and that the company is worth at least $2 billion.
With an investor like Bo and a bunch of other high net worth individuals, they're in a pretty interesting position right now. He told me that he tried to smoke a joint once, didn't really work. He's not a smoker. So coming to this investment, he actually smoked pot once in his life.
You know, something about this country, they love to piss on our heads and tell us that it's raining. Oh, it's just a little rain. Forecast said it would be on the way. And we go for it. So on some level, that means that we just deserve what we get. We should just lay down and take it, because there's nothing we can do about it. We should just lay down and take it because we have no other options. Wait, what you say? We do have options. Well, what are you gonna do about it?